Hey guys, Huzzy here, bringing you the extra video of the day, and I actually didn't have any video prepared, so I was like, let's do a Q&A. I haven't done one in ages, and I was like, so how am I going to get questions? So I did it on my social media, Twitter and Facebook, but I'd actually say majority of the questions that are going to be from today is going to be from the Discord server. I'd actually recommend you guys to join. I'm not sponsored by them or anything, but it's where I have the most interaction between viewers and me. They can ask questions, they DM me, and I try to answer as much as I can. I can't answer everything, obviously, but 20 minutes ago or so, I literally said to everybody, I'm making a brand new chat room. Everybody put in a question if you want to, and I'll go through it. And we've got, literally hundreds of questions to go through. So I've got plenty of stuff to do. And I'll say I'm going to probably do Q&As like this from now on. So I will get questions mainly from Discord because it's very much instant. This is how you get it. But I am going to start on Twitter and Facebook. Because obviously less people have done it on there because it takes longer and stuff. So let's just quickly go through a couple. So the first question is from It's Matt. Would you recommend League of Legends to somebody who has never played before? Why or why not? I would, but it's like World of Warcraft. I would only recommend World of Warcraft or League of Legends to people that have a free time or a free slot for a main game. League of Legends is not a secondary game. If you want to get good at it, you have to have it as your main game. You need to do research, you need to watch the competitive scene, you need to do extra stuff outside of a normal game's parameters. So I would go, if you want to play League and you want to be like good at it, then you have to have free time. You've got to sacrifice another game for it, probably. So it's situational. If one of my friends is a massive Counter-Strike Go player and I know he's not going to give up CSGO, I would not recommend League to him because he's not going to get very good at League because you need to put a lot of time into it. So that's probably what I'd say. Next one is from, again, if I butcher names, apologies. Johans Arski asked, if you could work for Riot, would you drop YouTube for it? I think I'm okay I'm allowed to speak about it. Like, again, I don't think I signed an NDA. I'm actually going through that process right now. I'm not saying what job or anything, but I'm in the application process and stuff. And if I am successful, would I be giving up YouTube? No, I won't. I will only do a job like that. Or take a job right now if I'm comfortable that I would at least be able to do a few videos a week. And I would be, like, with the job that I'm going for, I would be able to, because I just, even if this just turns into a hobby, it would be great. Now, some people are like, why would you do that? Like, you are abandoning us, pitchforks. What you have to think is, like, YouTube, you are very much self-employed. That's one thing. Being self-employed is scary, but it's more to the point that I'm self-employed with no control over anything. I'm on a website that I do not have any control over. I don't have control of what adverts go on my videos, how much they make, none of it. Literally any of it. Half my audience uses ad block, like everybody's audiences, which means I earn like half what I should be. So that is just stuff that I can't avoid. And if I could get a job in the game that I'm crazy passionate about, that I've built a YouTube channel, and I have a regular paycheck that I know this is how much I'm getting paid, and I can work my life around that, everybody would do that. Like, even if I go down in money, which I probably would, it's irrelevant to me. Like, at least I'd be like, right, I'm working on League of Legends, trying to make it better, and then getting paid to do that, and I know how much I'm getting paid, so I can budget towards that. It'd be perfect. And then, yeah, sure, I'd earn a little bit of a Brucey bonus doing YouTube on the side. That's great. And recently, and again, it's only been recently that Riot has allowed people to do that. Like Crepo, when he joined Riot, he had to get rid of his Twitch subscribers. He wasn't allowed to earn money from Twitch. Recently, Riot, they changed their mind because they saw it was a bit stupid. Their employees now are allowed to make money from stuff like YouTube or Twitch, so I'd be completely fine. But yes, I would join Riot, to be honest. Next one is, Riot has almost banned Cinch supports and has banned Nuna support. Do you think Riot will ever ban these Lux supports? See, this type of the person, it's by Destiny 4 hero. This is somebody that, unfortunately, majority of the community, or not majority, the vocal minority that try to defend these players are very much misinformed about these situations, or they just don't see the difference. Lux support, Lux is not a support, obviously. She's a mid laner. She does not belong in bot lane. But when she is given, and when people do play her in bot lane, most of them do buy Sightstone and they stay in bot lane, and they do technically support their AD carry. You can play anything in bot lane. This is what Riot has literally said. This is what I've said. You can play anything in bot lane, and it's not trolling. as long as you're fulfilling the role. The support role is there to get vision for your team, protect your team or your AD carry, and buy support items or do damage to help you win the game. But you're supporting, right? The Nunus, the Singe, the examples that people love throwing out of these people, they're not supporting. They are doing other stuff, mainly counter jungling. They are leaving their AD carry alone. They don't buy Sightstone. And a lot of them as well, to add to that point, they're also toxic. So when you add, like, they're not in bot lane, they're not technically fulfilling the role that they've been given, and they're toxic, you can see why they get banned. So yeah, just always inform yourself a little bit more before making these assumptions, because yeah, you can play anything in bot lane. I've seen Teemo bot lane, I've seen Shaco bot lane, I've seen a number of things, and it's fine because they're actually playing support. That's not the point that Riot is making. You can play anything, just play it in the correct way. Like the example, Vertical. People know this, the Ahri one-trick YouTuber. He plays Ahri in every single role. He plays Ahri jungle. He plays Ahri support. He plays Ahri AD carry, obviously, but AP carry. He doesn't get banned. He doesn't get reported because he's fulfilling the role that he's given. That's the point. People just miss it, apparently. Next question. We've got a few more from Twitter. From Broderick. What video games did you play as a child, if any? What video game do you feel got you hooked on video games? That's a good question. I don't think I've answered that one before. So I'm a kid of the 90s, so very much PlayStation 1 came out, or it was just called PlayStation back then. I grew up in that era. Or from my memory at least, but obviously there was Game Boy and stuff like that. And I'd say, yeah, the Game Boy was a big introduction to video games for me. The original Pokemon and stuff like that, I played a crazy amount as a kid. I literally remember, I think I've told the story before, in the house that I grew up in, there was a porch that had like a little roof near our front door. I literally remember people knocking on my front door because I was always the one that had the cool Pokemon. I had a trade cable, which not every kid did. So I literally remember people knocking on my door wanting to trade a Pokemon, and we'd literally sit under a little porch thing trading. So I remember that. But yeah, so Pokemon definitely got me hooked on video games. But what one would make a big, like, lasting impression? Probably the original Crash Bandicoot. That was pretty big on the PS1, PlayStation 1. Original Crash Bandicoot I spent hours on, and I literally mean hours on every single day. I completed it. Like, I think I 100%ed it as a kid, and I would have been about 6 here or something like that. So that probably would be it. But no, thanks for the question. Next couple from Twitter, and then we'll head off to the Discord, I think. This is from Tyrez, and I don't know his second. It's Russian or something. First off, big fan, Mr. Huzzy, sir. Thanks very much. Next question, or the actual question. I have a bad habit of playing only locked camera. Is this normal okay? No, do not do that. You are putting yourself at a massive disadvantage. The whole thing about tunnel visioning, I'm sure people know what that means. If you don't, basically just imagine you're looking, and right now I can see everything in front of me, but imagine if a tunnel was just put in front of my face that I could only see like a tube. That's called tunnel visioning. And in League of Legends, it's when you're only looking at your character and that's it. It's really bad. You're going to get punished for it if you continue doing that. And the biggest thing that I would say for people that play lock camera is break the habit as quick as you can. You might have, like, don't do it in ranked, play just tens, if not hundreds of games in normals to break that habit, because trust me, it will screw you over. And if you're wondering, a good example to use is Dyrus. You can get high rated with lock camera. He got high rated with lock camera. The moment he joined TSM, they literally went to him, play on lock camera or you're not playing. And he was forced to, because it puts you at such a disadvantage because you're only locked into your character. So yeah, really, really try to break that habit. Next one is what are your favorite this is by James Page. What are your favorite reworks, and what are your favorite items including the removed ones? Favorite reworks, I think the Poppy one was pretty good. The Cyan one was also pretty good. They just make the champs better. Favorite though, favorite's a weird word because most of the rework champions I don't really play like a crazy amount. Like, I have played Poppy quite a bit, but I wouldn't say like she's a champion that I love. But I'd say out of the reworks, if you're just going off reworks, then yeah, probably Poppy. Unless I'm missing something completely, which I don't think I am. And then what are my favorite items, including the removed ones? Probably Deathfire Grasp. If you're old, if you're new to the game, you won't know that item. But DFG was the original Burst Mage item. that I loved. Literally built that on a lot of champs that I played. The problem with it, Riot gave the reasoning because there was an outcry when that item got removed. And the reason why it got removed, if my numbers don't, if my memory doesn't fool me, they said around 90 or 90%. It might have even been 99%, but I'm going to say 90% because it sounds less crazy. Around 90% of the players never used the active on it, which is the active was a spell that did extra burst. 90% of people, it might be more than 90%, did not use that. And that's the thing that you've always got to think about, and I have to think about, and sometimes I have to sit back and go, oh yeah, is as a high rating player, this stuff to me is very obvious. Use the abilities, use your actives. But to the vast majority of the people in this game, the average rating is Silver 4, so people aren't going to use the actives all the time or know what they're doing. Silver 4 is very much a casual rating. That is probably like the average player in Silver 4 is probably a guy that logs on a couple times a week, plays a couple games, doesn't look into anything, doesn't know the meta, just plays League, and that's it. So yeah, that's probably my favourite. But anyway, let's head over to the Discord now. We have a lot of questions, so we're going to try and get through as many as we can. But we'll go through them. So this is from Big V in the Discord. What do you think is the hardest part of League, and what do you think will happen in 5 years' time with the esports community? Hardest part of League probably is dealing with the community. I think many people agree with that sense. It's not, you know, some people say, oh, it's not to be toxic. Not being toxic is like the easiest thing in the world. Because, you know, people have said, oh, Huz, do you just, like, not even have those feelings? I have feelings of what I would think ragers have. Like, oh, what are you doing? Why are you doing that? Oh, my game is lost because of you. I have those feelings. Just acting on that and raging is dumb. So I would never give into those feelings because I'm in control of myself. Which I guess that is hard for some people, but I think that goes with maturity. But I'd say the hardest thing is dealing with the community, is having that guy in your team that you're like, ugh, is having the guy that is arguing or spam pinging. The community is the hardest part of this game, 100%. The game itself, to me, and again, this is where sometimes I can sound a bit big-headed, but trust me, it's out of good intentions. The game itself isn't that difficult. You know, to get Diamond, which is technically in the top 1 or 2% of each server, isn't that difficult when you've done it for years and years and years. And if you actually take a step back and go, that's Diamond, that is the couple percent, and it isn't that difficult. Yeah, the game itself isn't that hard. It is very hard at the top level, and I imagine it is hard for people that are climbing for the first time. But someone like me that's comfortable with where I am, you know, I'm ranging from Diamond 1 to Diamond 3 at the moment. The game's fine, like, it's comfortable, it's comfy for me, and I'm never feeling like that stressed about, like, mechanically that I'm suffering or stuff like that. So no, that's probably what I'd say. And where do I think the esport scene will be? If television doesn't want to die, esport will be on television in 5 years, 100%. Like, I don't know, ESPN or someone will pick it up. But yeah, 100% that's going to happen. Because people like Elon Musk, if you know who he is, the CEO of PayPal, Tesla, SpaceX, billionaire, one of the greatest business minds on the planet right now, he said esport is probably going to be the biggest sport in the world within the next 20 years, I think he said. He's actually a big Overwatch player himself, but he wasn't just referring to Overwatch. He just said it's going to be the biggest spectator sport on the planet, which will overtake football, rugby, any of them. Like, literally, it will be the biggest spectating sport. That we will have our own dedicated arenas, and teams may even have their own arenas. Like, this is literally what he was saying, and I was just like, no, I can see it. I do. It's the thing with sport that you have to kind of align it with. The more accessible a sport is, generally, the bigger the sport. So soccer or football, if you know, is massive because anybody can go out and buy a ball. Anybody could be a footballer. When you get to the smaller, you know, handball or lacrosse, they're really small because not everybody can go get a lacrosse racket, or where's the local lacrosse team? Like, that's the point. But esports, everybody now owns a computer in the Western world. Like, it's so accessible, and that's the point. That's where sport thrives, is accessibility. So there you go. Next one is Will there be a video, this is by Dazalf, will there be a video on managing waves, freezing and pushing its different lanes effectively? See, people have asked me to do this for a while, and they've asked, you know, I've actually spoken to friends of mine who are YouTubers. We can't really do these videos very easily because it's situational every single time. If I do a video and I'm like, all right, in this situation, I'm going to push. That's in a very specific situation with specific champions, specific comps, specific time, specific items. That's why you don't really see it. You just kind of have to judge yourself, and you'll pick it up over the years. But yeah, like it's a hard video to do, and that's why you don't really see people making those videos. So yeah. Next one is, I don't know, but he's got in brackets Wally, so I'll go with that. Have you ever played in a professional LoL team? No. I've been in a professional organization, which was Team Dignitas, but I've never played professionally. I've played semi-pro, you could say. I entered tournaments, won tournaments back with my old team. The biggest tournament we won was, if you guys know, the Ragnarok. It's literally on the front page of the US client right now. That's what I won a couple years ago, but it's been changed. So back in the day, they had the UK and Ireland Open, and they had the Ragnarok, which was for Nordic teams. It looks like they've combined it just to be the Ragnarok, but I won the UK and Ireland one a few years ago. And that was actually for championship points. That was to get in Challenger Series, and we won that, which was kind of cool. But no, I've not played professionally, and honestly, I don't really want to. I've said, and I've had conversations with... I'd probably say the average person that's talked to me about it is quite young, probably about 15, 16, and they have aspirations of being pro. And I've told every single one of them, focus on education, not being a pro, because I've spoken to pros myself, and their biggest regret is not having an education. And some of them are literally are no longer pros, are a little bit screwed right now, and majority of them have gone back to school. Now they're older, and it's rough. It's really rough. So yeah. Next thing, sorry, someone messaged me. Next one is by TomTom2999, I think. Have you ever thought about leaving League? Not really. Like, there's been moments that I want bigger breaks than I probably would that I take. Like, I haven't had a break of League of Legends, like a big break since I've done YouTube. Like, sure, there's been moments like a couple years ago when YouTube wasn't my job that I might have not uploaded a video for 2 weeks. But you know, sometimes I might be like, I just don't want to play League for a month. Play something else, and I especially now I can't do that. And I know some people are like, oh, you could. Yeah, I could. I'm not forced to upload stuff, but you know, when it's your job, you have a responsibility. And especially, you know, I won't hide it. I am collecting funds right now to have a pretty good nest egg for when I move out. And because, you know, if I move out, that's also, I need to get furniture and all that stuff. And it's going well at the moment. So yeah, got to raise for that little nest egg to move. But no, I've not, like, even when League is rough and tough, I still love this game. This game is always the game that my friends joke to me about, going, guess what Huzzy's doing tonight? Playing League. Because I love this game. Like, I truly do. I love everything about this game. There are elements that well, not everything. There are elements that I dislike, you know, the community, the toxicness and all that stuff. But there's so much that I like, and I put so much time into it. It's like, when I gave up World of Warcraft, it felt like part of me went away, because I've been with that character or those characters for 8 years or something like that. But League is now I've nearly played League more than I ever played WoW. Probably on time-wise, I've played League more, and now it's a job. So no, I love this game. For what it's given me, no. I don't see myself leaving. I was very... Well, actually, I actually just recorded something. I was very seriously considering leaving if they were to continue Flex Queue for the next couple seasons, or like Dynamic Queue for the next couple seasons. But they brought back Solo Queue, so that kind of got rid of that. So, no, thanks for the question. By Nixon1402, can you tell us what is important for one player to climb in rating? Be good at the game. Like, there's no magic secret. Like, I've had people literally saying, what is the secret to climbing? I can't do it. It's being good. Like, it isn't a secret. If you're better than the people around you, you're better than your teammates, you're better than the enemy team, if you deserve to go up, you will go up. There is not some secret challenger player in bronze. Like, that just doesn't happen. It 100% doesn't. You know, if you are a good player, you will climb. And that's what I try to show with my Unranked Diamond series every year, is going, see, like, I'm climbing. Like, ta-da! But some people don't see it that way. But anyway. Next one is by SimArts. What about League makes it different from Dota and other MOBA games? That's a good question. So I'd say I've pretty much played every MOBA out there apart from Dota 2 a lot. Like, I played Dota 2 a little bit, but like literally a couple games. I found that game way too slow-paced. But that's what I'd probably say. League is very fast-paced compared to a lot of them. Even the lane phase is actually quite exciting in some instances. I'd say it's more accessible. Like, it's not easy. Like, some people think League is like easier than every other one. It's not. I'd say Heroes is probably the easiest MOBA out there. And again, I've played quite a lot of Heroes myself. Or Smite, that's kind of easy too, but that's a different type of MOBA. But no, I don't know. It's accessible. It's got a massive player base, which I think is quite good. It's vibrant, and I'd actually say that's a big thing. When you log into Dota, I don't know if it's just me, I felt sad when playing because everything's grim and dark and boring looking. But League, it's colourful. Like, there's green. It's like, oh, there's grass. Like, it's more alive, and I'd say that's a big thing with game. Like, I'm from a game design background. Mentality when it comes to aesthetics in a video game is huge. And like some people say, oh, Dota 2's community is way more toxic than League's. If you really want to get into the mentality of games like that, you could say if you brighten up the background and the gameplay of Dota, it would also brighten people's moods. It's been shown that colors and stuff have effects on the brain. Nearly hit my Red Bull over. That's why there was a team in where was it? Was it America? I can't remember what sport, but there was a team that painted the opponent's locker room, so when people came to visit them, they painted it pink. Not because, girl color or anything like that. It was to make their brains calmer, because it did have a calming effect, which means when they got out on the field, their testosterone and everything wasn't as high because they were looking at pink the whole time. Therefore, it took them a longer time to warm up. Color has a huge effect on mentality and all that stuff. And I just say if they brighten Dota up a little bit, then that would be helpful. But that's what I'd say League has. It's bright, it's fast gameplay, it's accessible, it has a great community to learn from. There's many YouTubers, which I respect highly. It's got the best, well, maybe Counter-Strike is getting there, but the best probably esports scene right now. It has a league that happens every single week for, however times a year. Sure, it could be better, but it's good. It's really good, and it's accessible, which I think is a big thing. Where I know Dota is a little bit more closed-minded, especially of new players. Like, people think League is bad, of treating new players badly. Dota's worse. Like, Dota's like, oh, you don't know this, scrub, and then you're gone. But no, yeah. Okay, next one is what are your favorite changes in season 7? From Huzzy. Solo queue is back. And solo queue is back. That's pretty much it. Like, there hasn't been anything crazy in Season 7. Like, the meta, I'd say, is an okay state. It's not amazing. There are some champs that are a little bit too strong. But, yeah, no, honestly, and I know it's not a big deal for some people, but solo queue is, like, the be and end all for me. Truly. Like, this is why I play this game and have done for so many years. Next one is, again, a question about when to push and all that, when to roam. I can't answer those questions because they're too situational. Like, if you've got a lead, all I'll say is if you've got a lead, just say, can you kill your opponent, yes or no? If you can kill them, then try to kill them. If no, look for a roam. Like, usually that's what it is. Next one, again, is from Wally. Do I have a girlfriend or boyfriend? Well, it would be a girlfriend, but no, not right now. Next one is by Uber Phantom. In the future, do you think you'll get Challenger? Probably not. If I wanted to get Challenger, I'd probably have to stop doing YouTube. It's very rare to see somebody become Challenger who wasn't Challenger before they started doing YouTube, because YouTube takes way too much out of you to be like a top player. People will throw examples like Pants or Cutie Pie. Yeah, those were Challenger players before they got big on YouTube, before it was their job, before they'd make content every day, thinking about YouTube more than they do about in-game stuff. It's perfect. If you want to be a Challenger content creator, you'd probably need to do kind of like a Pants in a way that you be a Challenger player and then do YouTube, and then you're already Challenger skill level and you won't really deteriorate from that point. That's probably what I'd say. By Slop 6067, what is my least favorite champ? There's a few. Mainly it's the ones that are a little bit too outdated or just don't have a lot of like stuff about them, if you know what I mean. So like Yi, Tryndamere, like they're just the kind of boring ones. They're very much like, what I'd say is my least favorite champions are the one-dimensional champions. Is that I like champions that could do multiple things, different playstyles, but Tryndamere, you know what he's going to do. Master Yi, you know what he's going to do. Quinn, you know what she's going to do. Just one-dimensional. And some people will disagree. Again, feel free. You can have your own opinion, but this is mine. And yeah, just one-dimensional champs. Just there. I don't get how people can play them. But anyway, let's keep going. By Will, if you could decide on an update to League of Legends, what would you change? I'd probably be stricter with community stuff, most likely. I think a big thing that people kind of misinterpret is how much effect content creators have on the community. As one myself, I can definitely know the effects, and I did my dissertation about it. So I would punish content creators more, and pros, by the way, they fall into that category, more than the average player if something goes wrong. Because it's an example, and that's what I would do. I know people love throwing out the Tyler 1 example. Obviously, that was justified. But I would do it as like a punishment and then a reform. If the content creator gets back, then unban them. See how they do. And then people, because there are some toxic people that think that they will always be toxic and they'll always be immature and they can't get over it. But if you take someone like Tyler 1 and you do the Tyler 1 treatment, or any of these content creators, literally ban any account that they are seen playing instantly. But then if they go into a different game, Riot keeps tabs on them, their attitude gets better, reintroduce them to League of Legends. If they're better, then it goes, look, someone like this can get better, and that could help the community. So that's probably what I would do. I would punish content creators and pros more than they probably do now, because I think that would trickle down into the community itself. But also have a reform program too. Next one is... someone's asking about, is HuzFit dead, or am I planning to do a future? So I haven't done an update about that. Unfortunately, if you have been with the channel for a little while, you'll know that I had surgery a couple years ago in my arm. Unfortunately, that problem is back. And I might either, if I keep exercising, the problem will fully come back and then I'll need surgery again. And this, by the way, is basically coming from exercise. I know it sounds stupid, but what can I do? Or I get a different surgery that is basically a preventative, but that could basically stop me doing anything with my arms for weeks. So I'm in a bit of a dilemma right now. So that's why I'm not really doing anything. It's either exercise, have another surgery like I had a few years ago, or have the proper surgery to prevent it, but then I could be out of commission for a couple weeks. So I don't know. But we'll see. From Codex, what are the main aspects of League to focus on to improve? Deaths is what I always say is the first place to look. How many times are you dying? Where are you dying? Why are you dying? Ask yourself those questions. Then you can look to comparing yourself to your teammates. Are you doing better than them? Are you doing worse than them? Are you doing better than your lane opponents? Worse than your lane opponents? Stuff like that. And then just like look at basic mistakes. Look at like replays is a big thing. Notice like, okay, someone's at that health. If I auto attack them a couple of times more here, like 5 minutes ago, would it have been a kill? Just kind of look into it a lot more. Majority of people that complain about being low rated and being stuck don't even look to improve themselves because they think they're already good, where in fact they're not. But no, if you look to improve yourself, you'll probably go up in rating because majority of people don't. All right, we're going to do a couple more. And then we'll do it. By Borhoseni, sure. For how long do you think LoL will live, considering it's not an attractive game to anyone but the League community? That's a dumb thing to say. Like, no offense, but that's a... What? Like, it's not attractive to anyone that doesn't play League. Well, duh. Like, World of Warcraft isn't attractive to anyone until people start playing World of Warcraft. That's life in general. But anyway, how long... I think it's got a crazy long lifetime. You know, if World of Warcraft can live for, what's it, 12 years or whatever it's been, 13 years, when its competitive scene wasn't its main driving factor, then I think League could easily go to 20 years. Like, we're in League for 7 years right now. League is still growing. The player numbers are still going up. They're opening new servers around the world. I'm thinking India is their next market, which is a big market, obviously, to have. But no, I truly think League's got easily a 20-year life cycle. Because, again, the driving force with League of Legends is the competitive scene, is that big audience retention, is that driving factor, which there hasn't really been a game like that. Well, Counter-Strike, I guess. And Counter-Strike's been going, what, for 20 years already? Like, if you include, Source? Like, that's a very old game. No, I think League's going to go for a very long time, continuing to get bigger, and when it gets mainstream, it could have another massive explosion. And again, this comes from not a bias, like I love League, this has just come from just knowing League and knowing the gaming scene. So no, I think League has got an extremely long shelf time. But let's keep going. What was the first champ you ever mained, and what was my favourite champ of all time? From Sawtooth Mocha 93. First champ I ever mained was Fiddlesticks in Season 1. Didn't play him in jungle, played him in mid lane, because the meta was not defined in Season 1, it just didn't exist. And then, favourite champion lore or gameplay-wise? Favourite champion lore-wise? I actually really like the new Galio lore, but I wouldn't say it's my favourite. But probably Zed, lore-wise. Like, if you don't know his lore, he was in the same dojo as Shen. Shen's father was their master. They were training, and there was this forbidden, like a Pandora's box, from what I know. And it was forbidden to look at it. It was the shadow arts or something. Zed wanted more power, and he just ignored everybody. So he went and studied it and learnt the shadow arts in the process of killing Shen's father. And then Zed killed everybody in the dojo. Shen survived, and that's why they're mortal enemies, because Zed wiped out everybody that Shen loved. So that's a really cool lore. Gameplay wise, I don't really have one. Again, I'm not tied to one champion. If I had a favorite, I would probably be inclined to play it more, and I'm not. So no, I don't really have a favorite gameplay wise. If I had to say, probably Gangplank. Next question. By Skiofold. Sure. Hey Huz, what tools keep you from autopiloting? And personal one, you seem happier after eye surgery. Do you feel better after that? How do you stop autopiloting? By paying attention. No, I've never understood this. Like, if you're queuing up to a game of League and you're in a game of League, I don't understand how you could just drift away. Like, if you're in that state that you could drift away, don't queue up. Like, it's just being smart and responsible with your own, like, LP and your own victory. Yeah, so that's probably what I would say. It's not much of an answer, but I can't really... My only drifting away autopiloting is when I get into commentating too much and pay less attention to gameplay. But I never drift off if I'm literally playing solo queue, because I'm paying attention. But do I seem happy? Yeah, I'm pretty happy about my eye surgery. My eyes are pretty much perfect now. I've got an appointment in like a week to kind of go over like the 3-month period, you know, how my eyes now. But no, it's probably been the best decision of my life, one of them, to do the procedure. Just to wake up and be like, I can see. Like, it's incredible to get in the shower and be able to see everything, like just to read the shampoo bottle, like that's huge. I wouldn't be able to do that before. Again, if you're unaware, if you're new to the channel, my vision used to be literally this. I remember I did the eye surgery video, and my vision, like my hand was blurry if it went to there. I've got perfect vision now. Like, it's incredible. It's amazing. So if you are on the fence about doing it, I could not higher recommend it, but obviously it went quite well for me. But I will say the day after surgery was one of the worst days of my life. Like, it was horrible, but then it got better over the next couple of weeks, and then we're here, and it's 100% worth it. Again, sometimes to get to the good, you got to go through some of the bad. So yeah. Okay, we're going to go do 3 more. I repeat, 3 more. What's your opinion on ELO boosters? Hate them, like them, don't care about them? Like, anybody with a brain hates ELO boosters. Like, the thing with ELO boosters, and I'm going to probably call out people here, the ELO boosters of League are most likely the guys that didn't go get an education or a higher education, that they're like 20, probably, okay, I'm going to give the standard ELO booster, and trust me, I've known a few of them throughout the years, so I'm not just saying this out of nothing. Roughly 20 years old, didn't go to university and unemployed, plays League all day, very good at League, but isn't good enough to go pro. That's the average, and most of them are toxic as well. So that's the average person. So they're not the smartest individual, and they see it as an opportunity to earn money, but they're doing it by such a scumbag way. Like, what, you're going to put that on a CV, trying to go for an actual job? You're like, hey, I ELO boosted people. Woo. No, like, the smart people aren't ELO boosters, and the dumber people are the people that buy accounts or get their accounts ELO boosted. Like, those are the people that like to take shortcuts in life trying to earn something, but then will have no substance to it. Like, the first time I ever earned Diamond, I went mental. First time I got Diamond 1, the first time I killed the Lich King in World of Warcraft, I had that feeling inside that can never get replaced. And you're just skipping that feeling. There is nothing there if you just buy an account or get boosted. Yeah. So no, if ever I have found an ELO booster and I've had evidence, trust me, I've got people banned. I've done that. And some people would think, oh god, that's bad. And people are like, oh, what about Pants? Like, he's admitted he used to be a booster. I'm obviously not a big fan of that. I'm happy that he's not doing it anymore. But yeah, like, a lot of also another thing is a lot of the boosters are people that got their permanent bans on their accounts because they were too toxic, or they think they're better than the League community. You probably all know who I'm talking about. There's a few of them actually, and they just have a thing against Riot more than anything, so they want to try and stick it to Riot by making money off League still, even though they've been banned. That's another thing. So no, I have no sympathy for people like that, and I feel sorry for them, really. What is the next question? As a Punk asks, let's just say in a hypothetical situation, you never made it to Diamond, would you still be playing League to this day? That's a hard one. Would I still be playing it? Maybe. I will admit, a lot of my fun in League is being good at the game. It does drive me crazy, even now to this day, if I go into a different game. I can generally get quite good at video games, but it does take time. You know, it's not instantaneous that I'm good at a game. But I've got to enjoy it and stuff. But if I wasn't good at it, probably I wouldn't play it. But then, again, it's hypothetical. If I wasn't Diamond or anything, I wouldn't have had a YouTube channel or anything like that. So, I don't know. Probably not. Like, again, a lot of my fun in video gaming comes from being good. And I know some people say, oh, Haz, you're not good. Being in the top 0.2% begs to differ. So, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if I'd play or not. It's a hard question to answer. And then final one of this Q&A from Dat Gamer. Why did you start YouTube? Okay, so it's a bit of a double whammy. Why did you start YouTube? Why did you do this as a hobby, then professionally? You really seem to help people, but why continue playing the game? Why did I start doing YouTube? Boredom. I've said this a few times. Back in my gap year between sixth form college and university, I was not doing anything. Literally, it was the most boring year of my life. The only thing that I did in that year was start doing a YouTube channel by the recommendation of Jesse Cox. OMFG Kata, he went back by then, but not by his personal recommendation. It was more if his story inspired me. That he was a teacher, he got fired or he quit or something, and he was doing nothing, but he was involved in WoW Radio back in the day, and he used to talk about World of Warcraft lore a lot, and he was a well-liked community member in World of Warcraft, so he started making videos, and he cured his boredom of not having a job by doing videos, and I was like, I'm going to do the same thing. I'm not thinking it's going to be successful. I just want something to do, a reason to get out of bed, and that was to make a video. So I did that. It went better than I thought. I think it was about 4 or 5 months, I got to like 4,000 subscribers or something like that. It's hard to say, but I started university and I had a decent amount of subscribers, like a notable amount, a few thousand at least. And then it just kept growing while doing university. I wasn't doing anything nuts. Just kept making videos in free time because it just then became a habit of mine that I enjoyed doing. And then in my final year of university, it just went, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? I was like, do I go for a job or do I do YouTube? And I like YouTube. It's really cool going to events and getting to meet people and people get excited to have photos. That's amazing. I'm just a normal guy. But just to wake up every morning and go, what am I doing today? I'm playing League. That's what I do. Is something that I don't think I could have passed up on. It's risky, because if you don't know, I left university and I left with the highest grade you can get. And I actually had 2 job offers pretty much that were both by respected companies, and I turned down both of them. And I pursued YouTube, and I'd say it's worked out so far. I'm earning more. You know, I know not everything is about money, but I'm earning more than I would probably in the first nearly 10 years of my career in elsewhere. And I probably wouldn't have enjoyed those jobs that much. But it was a risk, and it's paid off. But it was more that I just couldn't pass up this opportunity more than anything else. That it was like, this is cool, I'm going to do this. So yeah. And then, you know, why continue playing the game? I enjoy it. It's that simple. If I didn't enjoy League, I've said to people for ages, if League ever stops becoming fun for me, I'm done. Like, that's it. Goodbye. But I don't see that happening. Like, I do really enjoy this game. And, you know, I'll say, if ever I get to a state I'm like, oh, God, I don't want to play solo queue anymore, I've already thought about what I'm going to do. I'm going to get back into competitive, get back into playing tournaments, find a team, even make my own team, have the Huzz Nation team or something, sponsor it myself. I've already thought that because tournaments was the peak of my enjoyment in this game. Tournaments is so good compared to pretty much everything. So that's probably the path I would go, is become a semi-pro type again. And that's where I would make content as well. I'd record the tournament games. But I don't even see that happening. Like, I am enjoying everything that I'm doing right now, which is awesome. But that's going to be it for the extra video of the day. If you guys did enjoy the Q&A, throw a like on it. Again, I generally do these like once a month, or I used to, but I haven't done one in ages. Because I actually kept forgetting, because usually I ask you guys to put comments or questions in a video, but I keep forgetting to include that. So yeah, we'll start doing it on Discord. So join the Discord if you do want to pay or get involved a lot more. But that's it. So if you did enjoy, if you got any more questions, if you want to just talk about any of the ones I answered, leave them in the comments. Like the video if you like it, subscribe if you haven't, and I'll see you guys next time.